Hi, I'm Kyle Dix, Client Success Team Lead at Mercury. I'm joined today by our telephony partner, Omar Zafar, co-founder of TalentLynk, and we're really excited to be sitting down with Anna from SEC Life Sciences and Alex from Oyster to talk about how using both Mercury and TalentLynk has transformed each of their recruitment businesses' operations.
Great to be here. Anna, if we can start with you first. Thanks for joining us. Before we dive in, can you just introduce yourself and tell us a bit about SEC Life Sciences and your role there?
Yeah, sure. SEC Life Sciences, we're a boutique life sciences recruitment firm. My role at SEC is a support services manager, so all things HR, people strategy, operational support and office management.
And Alex, if you're able to do the same?
Yeah, of course. So Oyster Partnership are a business which has been running for 20 years now, predominantly public sector, so placing into councils and housing associations, the likes of planning, development, regeneration, finance and legal staff. And then on the permanent side of the business, which equates to about 20%, is focused on the real estate and built environment. My role is focused as Director of Talent, Performance and Learning and Development. So really, simplistically speaking, that is just bringing together every area of the business which is going to help drive consultant and business performance, whether that be learning, training, processes, promotion criteria, etc., or technology.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alex.
There was a couple of things that weren't necessarily working for us with our previous telephony partner. They did have an integration, but it wasn't necessarily fit for purpose for us. We had a list of essentials and some nice to haves. So while we were looking and lining up potential partners, Mercury, we came knocking on the door and said, are there any companies that you might suggest or recommend? And of course, TalentLynk were one of those businesses. So we went through a bit of a beauty parade, I suppose, of different organisations, different partners, and TalentLynk won out.
And I guess also since making the switch, how's TalentLynk's integration with Mercury helped with teams, I guess, tracking and managing calls?
When we first rolled it out, there was typically, like most businesses, there were two buckets of people. Ones that follow process, they tried new things, they had some bad experiences, so they really wanted to go for it. But one of the things that has actually surprised us more is that even those who have, should we say, their own way of working, they actually really saw the value in it, and they really saw not only it as being a process that they should follow, but also as being a real value add to their day-to-day working and processes.
Excellent.
For us, it's just that everything sits in one place. We know as support and as sales, they can go onto a client record, a candidate record, and all communication is there and you can rely on that data to be accurate. I think beforehand, call notes were scattered here and there. The quality wasn't there with those call notes, but I think now we're able to go into a candidate record and you'll be confident that the data that you're seeing there is accurate and represents exactly what's going on in that process.
Do you think the communication transparency across the business is kind of improved as well? So in terms of owning your IP and I guess data as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah.
For both new people that we're trying to engage with and existing clients and candidates, it's really helped. I think with new clients and candidates, obviously, as we know, it can be difficult to engage and typically you need anywhere upwards of 10 touch points. So having everything centralized, emails, phone calls, WhatsApp messages, etc., allows you to track how many touch points you've used and gone through to try and engage somebody new, but also with existing clients and candidates. Obviously that in turn maximizes the impact that we're having on candidates and clients.
Yeah. Just to add to that, I kind of feel like now the modern recruiter isn't just using email and phone. There's like obviously WhatsApp, as you mentioned.
Absolutely.
We've added like the Teams integration, as you know, as well, Anna, as well. So owning all of that and making sure it's on Mercury CRM is really important.
We had an instance where one of our clients who we were trying to start in terms with only wanted to communicate with us through WhatsApp. And previously we hadn't done that at all, but we had, I think, recently signed with TalentLynk. So we were quickly able to communicate with them. We've since signed terms with them, and that's because we had that WhatsApp integration and it was all on the CRM, so we could see every single bit of communication that was going on with them effectively.
I think the biggest thing that we solved there is that I think in the past, at agencies especially, no one would be aware of who's WhatsApping who. But
exactly
more importantly,
that, yeah.
The content of all the conversations would always stay on people's mobile phones or personal phones. So we definitely wanted to eradicate that with that integration.
Absolutely, and I think that's so critical. I mean, we've got 4 or 5 desks at least where there's 5 or more consultants. While we haven't measured it objectively at this point in time, I would imagine that it has in turn improved the experience of the candidates and clients that we're working with, because it is that one point of contact, because people can see, oh, there's a WhatsApp message that otherwise they would have missed. with anything like this, as soon as we roll it out straight away, we were thinking we expect to see an uptick of some sort, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, a little bit later. But in terms of the ways of working and just the individual consultant processes, typically people fall into two categories. They either take notes as they go, and they're pretty rigorous with that, and then the other option is jot everything down randomly, focus on building rapport, but then obviously they're going to miss things and not have the opportunity to find out that information unless they call them back. So regardless of what way of working both of them work, those manual tasks have now obviously been removed because of things like the instant note taking, the transcriptions, etc. It means that people can focus on building rapport, safe in the knowledge that they're not going to be missing any critical information.
Brilliant. And Anna, how has that happened at SEC? Have you also noticed a reduction in manual tasks?
Yeah, massively. I think what, as part of the support team, one of your biggest bugbears is moaning at the sales team for putting their notes on the system, and I think it's definitely completely eradicated that. And I think the amount of times we've seen consultants look back at previous call notes where we didn't have TalentLynk and go, these notes are really bad. But now with TalentLynk, the AI summary, everything is there. You've got candidate points, you've got client points, action points from that. And I just think we've had so many of our consultants say to us, all they have to do now is have the conversation and just sync it to Mercury, and it's done within seconds. So it's definitely eradicate that manual task for them.
Brilliant.
I know that we only released it recently, but any other automations post-call that you guys are seeing that need to be automated? So cover sheets and job descriptions or anything like that? I know obviously it's very, very new, but yeah, have you guys seen any improvement in that?
Yeah, that for us, the templates on TalentLynk have been really, really helpful. We've only really rolled it out this week, but already we've had quite a few candidate, we call them after an interview, a candidate interview debrief, and they've been fantastic for that. And it's really good for the guys to have that option to add the AI summary, or they could add that call template that's already populated, so we know that every bit of information that we want to see is going to be on there.
To be completely transparent, we're quite in our infancy, I guess, with regards to that particular feature. But I've already sort of played around with it and can already see what impact it's going to have. So ask me again in another couple of weeks. You went early with that question. It was we already went through it a couple of weeks ago.
True. I only jumped on a call within 2 weeks ago.
But no, I think it only makes sense that it will make a positive net impact on the business for sure.
Yeah.
I think, like I said earlier, it's just knowing that you can go onto any record within Mercury, and if there's a process there, you know that the information that you're seeing is relevant and it's up to date. We can see the quality of those calls rather than just seeing a call was had. You can see the call notes and see exactly what conversation was had and know exactly where that leaves that process. So I think for senior leadership, it's reassuring that they can confidently look at a pipeline through the conversation and communication that's happened through TalentLynk and is on Mercury, and know that it's up to date.
Brilliant. And yourself, Alex, as well.
Yeah, I'd like to think that we've always been, as a business, certainly since I've been there, quite sophisticated when it comes to that kind of pipeline visibility, etc. But this additional layer only helps that. And the open APIs, we've got our own sort of dashboards that we've built. Those open API keys across all of those different platforms. It does enable us to look at the quality, as Anna mentioned, the quality of what conversations are actually being had and having everything properly documented, but also start to look at some of the quantitative data points to see, right, perhaps this is why this consultant is going through a bit of a challenging time at the moment. Perhaps we need to kind of improve the quantity as well as the quality.
Have you seen kind of a difference before TalentLynk and after TalentLynk in the sense of number of calls that are being made or placements? I know it's probably a deep dive into your CRM, but have you seen any?
I will always have a tendency to look at things on a quantitative basis, as people typically do, but I also don't want to disregard the anecdotal part. So anecdotally, the experience has been really good and the feedback has been really good. And from a quantitative standpoint, just in terms of pure kind of simplistic calls, our calls in exactly the same time period leading up to the onboarding date compared to since the onboarding date, we've seen a 14% increase in total sales calls. And then if you just drop that down into candidate calls, it's been a 32% increase.
Wow.
Now, based on our conversion rates, our percentages, our fill rates, etc., that's roughly around an 18 placements is what we're looking at. That's the objective part, but then also, as I say, another anecdotal part is inevitably when you're building those relationships, the more time you're speaking to people, the more time you're on meetings, the more time you're building those relationships further down the line, that's just going to compound, hopefully.
We haven't done what Alex has done, but that's definitely something I would like to do now, because it'd be really interesting to see those stats. But I think I suppose more anecdotal, just being on the sales floor every day that I am, you can definitely hear there's less frustrations on the floor, which is great. So I think definitely call time has picked up, because they know that when they pick up the phone, that person is, the call quality is going to be great, and they know that they can have quality conversations with these candidates or these clients, and that they're going to have really thorough notes produced. So they're on the phone actually more because they're doing less admin as well. So I think all of those factors together means that our call time has definitely increased.
Yeah, and I guess that also means that you're having more meaningful and good conversations where you haven't got to worry about all the other stuff. Everything you're doing is quality.
Yeah, I think the integration has just been really seamless for us, and I think that was the biggest thing when we were moving to TalentLynk and that integration with Mercury happened. I think, like I said before, it's just given us as support managers just the confidence in knowing that the data is there, and we know that the data is going to be quality data and up to date.
Yeah, so as I obviously alluded to, the increase in the total sales calls over that time period and the candidate calls, and I sort of crunched that down into lots of different metrics, and ultimately when you look at it on a per person basis, extrapolated out over the next 12 months, based on our fill rate, we would expect those additional calls, if it is to be continued, to equate to roughly 2.5 placements per person, which based on average fee size is looking at around sort of £22,000 pounds in terms of additional GP. So yeah, I'm confident that with the reduction in manual tasks, the improvement of our processes, but also the increased time spent on actually speaking to people, building relationships, whether that be in person or over the phone, will definitely just compound that number, and hopefully will take us to even higher than that.
Data, time saving, revenue, seems like a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's brilliant, guys. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences. It's always great to hear about our partnerships, and especially with our great partnership with TalentLynk, how it's delivering real value to your teams. If anyone would like to learn more about Mercury and the TalentLynk partnership, go to wearemercury.com/power-partner/TalentLynk.